Hello, everybody. This is Scott. Maybe in one of my last videos for the class. Let's see here. Here are all the research papers, peer review. Um, what am I going to talk about here? Oh, I should move over here. Let's do this real quick. Log in. So I just wanted to say, first of all, I think it's great that I got to meet all of you in class during the test. I've put up the points for that quiz online in Turnitin.com. The total points for that quiz will be 30 because that's how it was scored. I didn't write the quiz, it was someone else, and so I thought it was going to be a 25-point quiz, and I mistaken that. Um, there, the quiz was designed a little differently than I had thought, so I think some people did really well. There's definitely some drop off, um, but I think overall as a class we did pretty well. So um, yeah, good work, everyone. I wanted to just kind of think about what's going on from here until the end. Today is the 11th, and what's due today are your peer reviews on Turnitin.com. So make sure that you submit it and that you have something there for someone else to review. Part of it is for your grade because you'll get graded on how well you review someone, but also you give someone else some feedback. And remember that you are not necessarily an expert in writing, so you don't have to give advice so much as just say what you experience as a reader. But most of you are kind of done with that, hopefully, and that you're now going to be starting to work on your revision plan, which is due on Thursday. It's a quick turnaround, so you'll need to really look at the reviews, see what they say, and create a pretty quick revision plan so that you can rewrite your paper by next Thursday, the 20th. Um, there are a few things I want to touch on. One is that your thesis cannot be a question; it has to be a statement, and that your research paper, even though it is requiring you to do a lot of research out there, is really a position paper. I mean, you need to be creating an argument in the midst of all these other arguments. If you get confused about how do I include other people's ideas, go back to They Say I Say. It's a great place to do that. The last three chapters of that book are really key. So you don't have to read them all, but definitely look at the templates and see how you might need to use them if you haven't already done that already. Um, when you're using your research, don't just summarize it. Try to make it connect to your ideas. Try to explain the perspective. Kind of analyze what you see. Some ways to think about your interviews and your participatory experiences is to go back to the Google paper or Google article. This is Google Making Us Stupid by Carr, and he uses his own experience with Google as a way of entering us into this conversation about whether Google is changing the way we think. And I think that's one way to kind of think about how your participatory experience can really give you a way to work on that. Um, be bold, be daring. Don't be afraid to make your statements, but make sure that they are thoughtful and they're logical. That you're not creating any fallacies. At one point, you need to check for validity. So one thing that I often ask people to do during review is to reverse outline. And reverse outlining is basically putting the paper into standard form by going through the paragraphs. And I ask people, write your thesis, and then for each paragraph, what is the point or what is the premise you're trying to prove? In each of these paragraphs. So each paragraph is almost like it has a premise, a premise, a premise, and that they should all add up back to the thesis. And that's really important. Or they should all be connected to the thesis, and that your conclusion should be forwarding your thesis and saying why it's really important. That's one thing to do to help you kind of really evaluate how strong your paper is and if it's organized in a way that's going to help your readers understand. The second thing that you could look at is what I call the pyramid of revision. Um, that if you don't have, and it's kind of set up so that if you think about it, you need these things from the bottom up before you can start making really sure that your paper is something reaches the top. So you need a thesis. You need a main idea. Um, you need to have organization and structure. You need to develop those ideas well. And I think this is where you need to use your research and text well. These two are really the key things in this paper, is making sure that these things are clear, that there's no steps in logic. Sentence mechanics, control, and clarity helps you achieve that. So if you don't have strong sentence structure, or you're not clear, or you have a lot of errors that stops your reader from understanding you, that's where you need to work on that. And if you do these three things well, you can get an A. But really, an essay should be about this: style, lyricism, abstract beauty. A strong essay is something that makes someone see the world differently or from another point of view. So if you're reading someone's paper and said, "Oh, I hadn't thought about that before," then that writer has been successful in helping you see something differently, and that's the goal of an essay. Okay. The two ways that you can think about that is to actually think about your logic and your reason, and your attention to your audience. And the other part is you're using creativity and imagination to help you really see the connection between ideas that may have seemed not so connected before. All right. So, good luck on revision. Please don't feel afraid to email me if you have questions or if you have problems getting stuff in. Give me a call or email me. All right. Good luck, everyone. I'll talk to you later. Bye.